HOA tried to silence my research, so I exposed the billion-dollar scheme behind their power. The air in the lab was thick with the scent of antiseptic and ambition. Dr. Elena Voss, a botanist with a fire in her eyes, had spent years studying Karen flowers, a rare bloom native to the Pacific Northwest. Its petals, vibrant as blood, held a secret, a compound that could revolutionize medicine or destroy lives if mishandled. Elena's research suggested the latter. Her findings pointed to a hidden toxicity, a slow poison masked by the flower's beauty, capable of causing organ failure over decades. But her discovery wasn't just scientific, it was a threat to a billion-dollar empire. Karen flowers were the cornerstone of HOA Industries, a pharmaceutical giant that marketed the bloom's extract as a miracle cure for chronic pain. Their glossy ads promised hope, but Elena's data screamed danger. She tried to publish her findings, only to face veiled threats. Anonymous emails, slashed tires, and a chilling phone call warning her to let it go. HOA's CEO, Victor Crane, was a man who thrived on control, his smile as sharp as a blade. He'd built an empire on the flower's allure, and Elena's research was a crack in his foundation. She wasn't alone in her fight. Marcus Tate, a junior researcher, had been her ally from the start. His quiet demeanor hid a fierce loyalty, and together they'd uncovered HOA's buried clinical trials data showing patients deteriorating after long-term use of the extract. But the deeper they dug, the more dangerous it became. Elena's apartment was ransacked, and Marcus started getting cryptic texts from burner phones. Still, they pressed on, driven by a shared belief. The truth mattered more than fear. The tension reached its peak at a clandestine meeting in a rural conference center, arranged by an anonymous tipster who claimed to have insider knowledge. Elena and Marcus arrived, armed with their research, expecting a breakthrough. Instead, they found Victor Crane waiting, flanked by 2 security guards. His voice was smooth, almost paternal, as he offered a deal: $10 million and a gag order to bury the research. "You're young, Elena," he said, leaning forward. "Why ruin your life over a few bad flowers?" Elena's hands shook as she clutched her papers. "People are dying, Victor. Your miracle drug is killing them." Marcus stepped forward, his voice steady but eyes blazing. "We have proof. Trial data you hid. Testimonies from families." Victor's smile didn't waver, but his eyes turned cold. "Proof can disappear," he said. "So can people." Then came the twist. The door creaked open, and in walked Sarah Lynn, HOA's head of PR. Elena had always seen her as a polished puppet, spinning lies for Victor. But Sarah's face was pale, her hands trembling as she set a USB drive on the table. "I was one of the trial patients," she whispered. 15 years ago. My kidneys are failing because of your drug." Her voice broke, but her gaze was steady. "I've been feeding you the leaks, Elena. I can't live with this anymore." The room froze. Victor's composure cracked, his jaw tightening as he realized his own ally had betrayed him. Sarah's confession was a grenade, and the fallout was immediate. Marcus grabbed the USB, while Elena faced Victor, her voice rising. "This ends now. We're going public." Victor lunged forward, knocking over a coffee mug, his guards closing in. But Sarah, with a courage she'd hidden for years, pulled out her phone and hit record. "It's streaming live," she said, her voice shaking but firm. "The world's watching." The confrontation spiraled into chaos. Victor shouted orders, but his guards hesitated, aware of the live stream. Elena and Marcus bolted for the door, clutching the evidence. They made it to their car, hearts pounding, as Victor's threats echoed behind them. The drive to the nearest news outlet was a blur, but by dawn, the story broke. Headlines screamed of HOA's deception, and the public outcry was deafening. Lawsuits piled up, and Victor's empire began to crumble. But the victory was bittersweet. Elena learned the cost of truth when she visited Sarah in the hospital weeks later. The whistleblower's health had worsened. The flower's poison had taken its toll. Sarah smiled weakly, her hand gripping Elena's. "You did it," she whispered. "You made it matter." She passed away that night, Her sacrifice a weight Elena would carry forever. HOA collapsed under the scandal, but the damage lingered. Families grieved loved ones lost to the drug, and Elena's research became a beacon for reform. Yet the fight left scars. Marcus quit science, haunted by the threats. Elena kept working, but her eyes were older now, her idealism tempered by loss. The Karen flower, once a symbol of hope, became a warning. Beauty could hide poison, and truth could demand everything. Elena stood by her choice, but the cost was a bitter pill. She'd exposed a billion-dollar scheme, but at the price of lives, trust, and a piece of her own heart. What would you do when faced with a truth that could destroy everything? Share your thoughts on justice, sacrifice, and the cost of standing up.